Okay, welcome everyone to today's presentation. We're going to talk about images, pictures on your website. This is a really, really important topic. So let's go ahead and get started. Myself, I'm Allison James. I will be running the screen here today and showing you a bunch of images and samples. I am being joined by Emily Bowen, Senior Project Manager, Customer Liaison, all-around trainer, good person, great friend, and question answer, right? Emily, say hello.
Hello, everybody.
All right, our information will be up on the last screen as well. So here we go. Here's our planned agenda for today. It really doesn't seem like a lot, but actually it packs a pretty big punch. So we're going to talk in general about images on your page, how to put images on your page, how to wrap text around them, how to size them, maybe use borders and different stuff. And those rotor images and those banners and the photo albums and the CiviCRM, and then we'll have tips. One of the biggest topics in amongst all of this is having your pictures be mobile responsive. It's a huge deal. Most of you are now on mobile responsive websites, so we want to make sure that a picture on a computer screen looks good on a tablet, looks good on a phone. We're going to teach you all the important tricks you need to know to be successful at that. All right, but as we get started, I have a question for you all. I have a poll. Really what I'm trying to do here is get a sense of my audience to see what you guys, if you guys are already high-end users or doing a lot and you're wanting to get really detailed, or if you're not that far along. So take a look at the poll on the screen. And you might not do any of these items. Do you know how to create graphics, like a graphic, and put words on it and size it to a certain size? Are you using our scheduler for our rotors and some of that stuff? If you didn't know that exists, we'll show it to you. Do you use our image gallery? Do you add pictures into CiviCRM, or are you doing none of that? It makes no sense to you whatsoever. So if you want to go ahead and vote, most of you have done it now. Good deal, thank you. And we will share. Yeah.
Awesome.
So I got quite a few of you who know how to create graphics. That's pretty cool. I am going to do some more graphic creation and show you a few things. The scheduling, not too many, which doesn't surprise me because it's kind of actually a newer function. So we'll make sure you don't let me forget that there, Miss Emily. And some of these other elements, we'll go through all that. So that's just helpful information for me as I get going. So let's go ahead. I hid that, did I not?
Yes, you did. You got that, the presentation back up.
Yeah, at least we figured that one out quicker this time. Okay, so let's go look at some websites and do some work. This is the fun part, folks. She can pull up her screen. There we go. All right, I am on our demo site right now, and this is an About Us page, a typical page on a website. So I'm going to add a picture to the right-hand side of this page. What are the things I need to know about my images? Adding my images, sizing my images, putting my image on a page. All right, let's do this. So I'm going to go to my edit screen. And typically, where I put my mouse when I'm adding an image is to the left, to the far left of whatever line and space I want to put it on. I'm actually, in this case, going to float an image off to the right and make sure text wraps around it. So let's go ahead and do that. It's pretty common practice. So I'm going to select an image, and let me go ahead and upload something. So I will click Browse. I will get an upload button. I will browse my computer. On my desktop, I have something for our About Us page. I will open it. I will upload it, and I will insert it. Now this is a pretty big picture. So something important for you to note is sizes. The pixel size on an image is at 12 wide, how big it is. Your basic website width is about 2,000 pixels wide, so it's pretty substantially large. Let's go ahead and take this down in size to say, we're going to go with 500. So I'm going to make this image 500 pixels wide. I could put a border around it. These are pixel numbers, like a 5-pixel border. H space and V space, what are those? horizontal space and vertical space. These are buffers around the edge of your picture to avoid text running into it. So a lot of times I won't do the vertical space, I only do the horizontal space, and I'll put in 10 pixels of horizontal space, and I'm going to align this right. So let's start with this set of steps, and then we'll look at a few more things about it. So there's my picture. Let's save it, take a look at it. Now, I am on a large monitor. It's a pretty big screen. So this picture on this monitor, it definitely takes up quite a bit of space, but not that much. On my smaller monitor, it would take up an extreme amount of space. So I have to think about that when I'm putting a picture on and how it's going to work. Let's go ahead and see what this would look like in a mobile device. So I happen to know how to make my screen adjust for mobile. Oh no, do you see what happened? This picture is stretched. Everyone take note of this. Start looking at your website on phones, on different size phones. I'm in Firefox. If you're ever in Firefox, Control-Shift-M for mobile will bring up this tool, and it allows you to look at it on different phone sizes. So you can see what it looks like as it adjusts to phone size and if it looks any different, etc. So let me X out of this. But it's still stretchy, and it just doesn't look good, and the text is smashing on it. I didn't put vertical height on it. Well, I didn't think I needed vertical height. It was on the side. Well, guess what? When it's in mobile, I do need vertical height. So let's think this over again. So I'm going to close this out, come back and edit it. All right, here's the trick of the day. If you don't know this, you need to know this. Write this down, pay attention. Right-click on the image, go to Image Properties. In order for an image to be what's known as mobile responsive and adjust and not stretch like that on a mobile device, what you are going to do, see this lock right here, you're going to make sure it's unlocked. That's the ratio lock. So you're going to unlock the ratio, and you will delete the height. My preview suddenly got a little weird looking, but I don't care because that's fine. I'm also going to put in 10 pixels of vertical space because I know I need that for my phone. So I'm going to say, okay, it looks the same as it did before on my screen. And this is where it's so important to look at it on a phone or another device, because if I had just sat here and looked at it on my computer screen, I would have moved on. It looked fine. I wasn't worried about it. Well, obviously I should have been, because it didn't look good on a mobile device. Now look at it. It doesn't look stretched anymore, and I do have space between the arm mission and the picture itself. Okay. Let me show you one other way of possibly considering how you might approach this. This is something to think about. Actually, let's hit edit. The other thing you might think about is whether or not you want, as I go to different screen sizes, it's always to stay on the right and not to stack like it did. One other option when you go to doing widths is to consider putting in a percentage, such as 33%. Now, again, it needs to be unlocked with the height deleted in order to be responsive. It's a little bit bigger of a picture on this screen, but it'll be smaller on other screens as I go to other screen sizes. So now let's look at it on a mobile. And let's see how it's teeny tiny, because it stayed at a percentage of 33.3%. Well, let's look at it on a tablet. So one of the options you have with images is to put it at a percentage and to set that percentage in a certain way so that it always looks the same. Now, obviously, I'm not necessarily loving this 33%. We're going to do another sample here where I'll show you where I would consider the image. If I wanted the image to lay all the way across the top, we're going to do that in a second. We're going to take this picture, crop it, lay it across the top, put some images underneath it. We could set it at 100%. That might be something we want to consider doing. So if you really want a picture to stand out and be big, possibly 100% is a nice option as well. Another thing on images, when we're in edit mode on images, I'm going to right click and do image properties. I would be remiss not to educate you a little bit about some of these other fields that are out here. You can type in alternative text. This is the About Us page, if you would like. It certainly doesn't hurt anything. All of these fields are tied to different features that can tie into search engines. You can do a link. You could link to a page, such as another page within your site. That's always an option for pictures. But this is the one I really want to show under advanced, which is your advisory title. About Us Education. So here I have a title that I've typed in. The advisory title, what is unique about the advisory title is the advisory title will appear over an image. And if you haven't gone and put in advisory titles on your images, we do recommend it. Why? Advisory titles are readable by computerized readers. This is actually an ADA compliance feature that is available to you. So if someone is visually impaired and they use a reader on their computer screen, when they scroll over it, it will read the words that are on an image that are in the advisory title. Advisory titles also do pull into search engine features as well and help with your search engine. So you can write a full sentence in there. You can put in more information, pictures of people, put their name, things like that. So that's all a part of what you can do. Okay. How are we doing, Emily? Questions?
We're doing good. We have a question from Mary about rotors, and as it appears on her phone, she wanted to know why the text doesn't come across on a phone when she adds it in for a rotor, so like a teaser text or a title.
We will talk about that. That is a good question. I'm going to get to rotors here in just a second. We will make sure we don't miss that. Emily kind of keeps my memory going. All right.
I gotcha.
You got me. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you guys on a little journey with pictures on this page, and then we're going to do rotors after this. So I had this vision. I said, you know, the page is kind of boring. I want it to be jazzier. It's just text with a picture on the right, and it looks fine. It's not a horrible page, but I want something different. All right, we hear this. So let's say we like this picture of the kids and we want to put it up across the top, but maybe crop it down a little bit. And instead of it just saying our mission, our vision, and our goals, we want pictures to represent our mission, our vision, and our goals, and them to lay out on the page. So I'm going to show you how I would go about building this and adding it to my page to maybe jazz up my page and add some more pictures into the page, because let's face it, society likes pictures, so we're going to play along. All right, I'm going to show you my favorite free photo editor tool that I have discovered out there. It is free. It doesn't cost a thing. You will have ads. I don't care. I have ads. It's free. It's called Pixlr.com, Pixlr.com. If you use Photoshop, if you use InDesign, if you use another tool, even I hear people use Paint or other tools to do their pictures, you certainly can use whatever you'd like. I'm going to show you this one because it's free, and it's basically a free version of Photoshop. And so this is kind of cool. So Pixlr.com, when I scroll down, I always pick their editor. Or if you remember it, it's actually Pixlr.com/editor, and it'll bring up their editor mode. I'm going to go ahead and open that last image that we were just looking at. It pops on my other screen. Where we go? About Us, open. And you know what? I'm going to place this picture at the top of my page. So all I'm really going to do right now is mess with it a little bit and just crop it down, because it was pretty tall. So let's take it like that. And did you know it's okay to cut off a little bit at top of heads? That's acceptable. You want to avoid getting into foreheads. I know. Did you know that? That's okay. All right. You can cut off feet. People are pretty good with all this stuff. So I'm going to take this picture, and now I'm going to use this at the top of the page. And all I did was use the crop tool that came with this particular feature and dragged and cropped it. That's all I did. It was really simple. It's still a pretty wide picture, so actually let's bring it down in size a little bit. I don't know if you can see this tiny text on the bottom, but it's 2,298 pixels wide. So let me just make it a little bit smaller. I'm going to go to image size, because something very, very important to note is that if I take a large picture like this into the site, it will take up more space on your site, and it will take longer to load. So you actually want to bring your picture sizes down at least 1,200 pixels or smaller when you're bringing them in, except for the rotor. That's an exception. If you're putting it on a page, it doesn't need to be that large. And also the file size. So this file size of a picture, if you've ever heard of like 300 dpi or 72 dpi, oh, it doesn't show it on this one. Basically, if it's a very large file, if it's over 500 kilobytes, it's too big. We want it smaller because it will slow down your website. So not only just the dimensions, but the actual size of the file. So let's do a file, save. I'm going to call it About Us and save it to my computer. It's going to ask me if I want to replace it. I will say save, replace. That was on my other screen, by the way. So now I am going to come back out here to this page, and let's just edit what we have here. So instead of having it off to the side like I did, I am going to go ahead and click my image, rebrowse, and upload About Us again, because it's not the same image it was before. About Us, open, upload.
And be aware, as you're uploading your files, I'm going to jump in. Never use the thumbnails option as you're uploading files to your file browser, because you don't get to pick where that thumbnail image comes from in your picture. So you might only get like one of those little kids' ears in that picture. So again, don't use thumbnails, please and thank you.
Thank you for that reminder. And one of the other things with the thumbnails is so it makes a smaller version of it. You could accidentally grab the wrong image. You don't need thumbnails because in your browser, when you're clicking around, your image should always appear below. Now, I do want you to notice this because I think it's something helpful to know. See how the name of this image is About Us _0? Why is it _0? It's _0 because About Us already exists. I uploaded it just a minute ago. So I'm using the exact same name, and anytime you use the exact same name, you'll see a few of them out here. The system _0_ take like the same PDF and use the same name and keep uploading it. That can cause confusion sometimes, so just be aware of that. It also happens if you rename the page the exact same name that already exists. All right, we're going to go ahead and insert this image. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to insert it at 100%. Crazy looking image there. I'm going to delete the height. It's already unlocked. I don't need, well, I'll do vertical space. I don't need horizontal space because it's 100%. I'm not aligning it. I'm going to leave it unset so it's up at the top like that. It looks really big on the screen, but guess what it looks like on other screens? It still looks fine on the screen because there's still that sidebar. And so there's the image across the top. Let's look at it on a phone. There it is on a phone. Looks good. Visible, can see it. If I go to a tablet, can see it there. Looks good. There we go, etc. Now let's just say, in going along with this, that I want to kind of keep jazzing this up a bit, and I want 3 images underneath it. One that says our mission, our vision, and our goals. Wow, getting really creative and really going the extra yard. But what I want to do is show you how you can do stuff like that in the system. A lot of times people are a little bit stumped because we can't use tables. We don't want to use tables. It doesn't lay out responsibly in a site. But you can set pictures next to each other if you use percentages. So let me just show you that option so you can see how you could potentially look at doing that. So, oops, I don't want a new image, I want to upload. Open image. So I have 3 images out here. I'm going to grab mission, vision, goals. Open. There we go. Well, they're pretty big. Okay, so let's start with mission. It's the first one. So mission. Let me first off start by taking and making this image smaller. I'm going to take it to 600 pixels wide. That's fine. Let's put words on it. So if you know how to use some of these photo tools, you certainly can add text to images. You can click a text tool. Let's make this text white, which you can just click in the palette wheel. I didn't make it a true white, but that's okay. I'm not wasting time on it. Let's capitalize and say mission. You could pick a different font, of course. You know, go with Arial, go with whatever you want to use. I'm going to use Arial Bold, and I'm going to take it to 60. Okay. Now to move things around in this, there's something called a move tool up here, which will allow me to take that text and move it. We'll just call it mission. I mean, maybe I'm wanting them in the corners. I'm wanting on the top, wherever you want it. I'll just stick it in the middle. Why not? So let's save this one. File, save, mission. He's ready to go. Okay. Save, replace. He's ready. All right, so that's that one. Mission. We're done with him. And image size 600. Now, I don't know if you noticed the last one was actually 600 by 400, and I do want them to be the same size. So a trick in sizing images is to actually adjust what's known as the canvas size. I don't want to squish it. I don't want to force the height to be 400. I actually just want to crop a little bit off the top and bottom in order for it to be the exact same size as the other one. I'm going to go ahead and type on this one and call it vision. Oh, it didn't keep my setting. Oops, that's not how you spell vision. True white is FF, which is a hex color. Yeah, it's probably more than you wanted, but there you go. Say OK and drag it into place. Now, I'm giving you a super quick tutorial on putting words on images. There are lots of tutorials out there. You can go watch one, learn them, Google search it. Pixlr has their own as well. But this just allows you an opportunity to kind of see that this is stuff you can do. So if you're ever like, I need some words going with that picture, you can actually put the words on yourself. That's something to consider doing. Now, for some of you, you might be like, this is more than I want to tackle, which is fine. Just know it is a possibility. And if you do find yourself really wanting to do something like this, I don't want to cover her face. Lower. And you want to pay us to set up images with words on it, we can do that as well. You just need to buy the site maintenance. Okay. And maybe you put a shadow behind it or different things so you can read it. All right, we'll say this is good enough. It isn't picture perfect, but I'm okay with that. Are you okay with that, Emily?
I'm totally okay with that.
All right, so let's go back to our page. So I just created these 3 images, and the reason I did this is just kind of show you some creative things that you could do with pictures on a page should you decide to do it. So we are going to go underneath our bigger picture, and also, hey, if you hadn't noticed this before, there is this maximize button that should be in your editor thing that does allow you to go full page while editing. It is an option to consider. Sometimes I do it when I'm working with things like this that I want to be able to see better what I'm doing. So I'm going to do image, I'm going to browse, and then I'll have to upload each one of these. So we'll do our mission. There's mission, upload, insert. So in concept, what I would do is I'm either going to link this to a page or I'm going to create what's called an anchor and bounce it down the page to the text. I'm not going to take it to that step. Right now, I'm just teaching you about pictures. What I'm actually more interested in is how am I going to lay these out 3 side by side and have them look good on a picture. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to set the width to 30%. And I'm going to delete that height. And I am fine with it. Now I should do my text and my other stuff. It's okay. Now I'm going to go get my next picture. Browse. Upload, browse. What's after mission? Vision?
Sure.
Open. Insert. Nope. Upload. Skipped a step. Insert file. I'm going to set this one to 33%. Delete that hideout.
Unlock that
now
rate.
For this,
Good.
Unlock the ratio, delete the height. It actually, as soon as you put a percentage in, the ratio unlocks. It's an auto thing. That's kind of something cool. This is the only one that I am going to put a horizontal buffer on. It's the middle one. So I will put 5, actually. I'm going to keep them kind of tight. Say OK. Oh, this picture was bigger. Did I not crop her down? Oh, I forgot when I did the second one. Maybe I did. I don't know. You would want to make them exactly the same size. So apparently I missed that. I thought I did. I will browse for my third one. Upload, browse, and do goals. Open. Upload. Insert. Did I do the percentage wrong? I did 33 instead of 30. That's what I did wrong, huh?
You gave her an extra 3%. It's okay.
That's why she's bigger. Say, okay, let me go back to her. Image properties. Yeah, it's supposed to be 30. There we go. Now they're all aligned. And actually, I can set all of these centered. Page. All right, so check this out. Did I lose what I did? I would be sad. There they are. I am going to hit save. So they're like that there. What does it look like on a phone? They're small. So keep this in mind as you do things like this. As you do get to small devices, if you have words on pictures, the words better be pretty big, even bigger than what I have there, and adjusted in such a way that they're a little bit easier to read. So that is something to think about. But it does allow you some ability to do some layout things that bring a few more pictures into a page and maybe jazz it up a bit as you're building stuff. Okay. I'm going to be moving on to rotors. How are we doing, Miss Emily?
We're doing good. We're doing good. A lot of good feedback. A lot of people are learning some cool things about the percentages and unlocking the ratio. So keep it up. Doing good.
All right, there we go. Okay, so now that we've messed with pictures on a page, let's go talk about that rotor.
Oh,
so not every one of our. Yeah, did I miss something?
About memory. Now, you ever going to be worried about running out of memory in your file browser or anything else like that?
Yeah, let's take a look at something here that you might not realize is easy for you to take a look at. So let's go look at all your images in your files. That's a nice reminder. Thank you. So when you are logged in, your name or your whatever your login name is going to show. So mine says Hello Allison. I click Hello Allison. It's going to pull up this screen when I log in. I can click the word File Browser. So at File Browser, you're able to see all the pictures you've uploaded, all of the files you've uploaded. So whether they're PDFs. So there's my About. So that's the full-size one. And here's my About Us, which is the smaller one. So how big is this? See our sizes over here? We talked about the dimensions, which is 1,200 pixels wide by the height. But what about the file size? Is there a difference? There is a difference. As soon as your images start getting over 500 KB, kilobytes, or 1 megabyte, 1,000 KB, you're putting things in place that will start to slow down the experience of someone coming to your site, especially if they have a slower connection or an older browser. So we highly recommend that you try and pay attention to the file size prior to uploading. The other thing about your pictures prior to uploading is name them. You want to avoid uploading a bunch of pictures that have a number as a name, because you don't know what it is. I have to click on it. What is it, a puppy? Mm-hmm. Figures. We have lots of dogs and cats on the back end of our websites as sample staff.
Staff and board photos. Better than people.
Yeah. So you will see, different rotors. Now, what I typically do when I create my rotors, I bet you I have some out here, is I name them rotor first. That's usually kind of a thing I will do. Rotor. I start with the word rotor, and then I have the information after the rotor on what the rotor is pertaining to. So all my rotors I name that way. That is my habit. promo banners, the 3 boxes that come in. I'll often name them promo banner first. I don't have any on this site. But if you have an event and you're going to upload pictures, say from a 5K, maybe every picture starts with 5K and then the things after it. You do not have the ability to use files and to sort them into file folders. So for your own sanity, in order to be able to find pictures, name them well before you upload them. To save space on your site, you do not want this. 2.19 megabytes, don't put that on a page. Certainly don't do that. Even though it's 4,000 and you're going to have to bring it down size, it's going to slow your site down because still the original file size will draw things on your site. If you're experiencing when you go to your website pages that pages are loading slowly and things seem slowly, check your pictures. You might want to actually remove the pictures, resize them outside, make sure they're smaller, and then bring them back in. Did I cover that well?
Yes.
Yep. Yep. Okay.
Yep.
We ready for rotors?
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for the reminder. I was all excited about my percentages. Okay. So here's a rotor, and I'm going to tackle this question that came in that said, hey, I have a rotor that looks like this. And on the rotor, there's a grayed out bar that I type words in, and the words appear there. But, you know, when I look at it on the phone, those words aren't there. Because, one, you would just really wouldn't be able to read them. They'd be super, super tiny. So do know this. Having that space there with type-inable words is something that One Each has provided for you so that you don't have to graphically go make an image and put words on it ahead of time. You can just type some words in. But it only does show on the computer version. What about my small mobile versions? Well, something to think about. You don't have to have that feature there. It is easy for us to remove. We're not going to charge you for it. You just say, I don't want the word bar across my thing. But that now means that you have self-proclaimed you're going to take on the task of making rotating images and placing your own words on them and eliminating this feature. So it is just something to think about. Sometimes, you know, if it is an image that just screams, I got to have the words on it because it's gala on March 12th and I need that date on that image and I need it on my mobile, then you're going to graphically want to make that. You can still have the words across down here and still have graphic words on your image as well, so that's up to you. Okay, so now comes the task of my rotating images. If you look at your website and the images you have rotating on your website are those same images that have been rotating on your website since we gave it to you, please, 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 it is time to change those out.
Time to update.
Time to update. We encourage you to use good local pictures, but they do have to be high quality graphics. And while you still want to be cognizant of not having it be a huge file size, you also don't want a really grainy pixelated picture that's going to look terrible. So it's a little bit of a catch-22. If you do not have good pictures yourself to choose from, do think about using our image gallery service that we have now, images.oneeach.com. You can check these out. These are where those pictures came from that I was using earlier with the little images that I made. I think, where's the kids in the library? It's out here somewhere. It's $100 a year to use this. This allows you to pick as many images as you want out of this database. Let's do snow for you there, Miss Emily, because I know you got snow.
Because that's my life, my strange life right now.
So we had holiday images, we had disaster images, just general images that are available for you to use. So $100 a year you can purchase in, and then you're able to use as many of these as you want. They are iStock photos. They have the iStock code. If you decide you want to use this image on your own brochures and other print materials, you can purchase that licensing from iStock. So these are handy. Consider going ahead and using the image gallery tool or use your own images. All right, so first thing, identify your images, what you're going to use. Once you've identified your images, you want to put them in this rotor space. Okay, here's the challenge. Do you see the space? It's very oblong. It's a long image space. It's not a tall image space. So when I go pick a picture and I'm looking for a picture of this picture, how would this work in that rotor? Well, I'm going to have to either crop off their arms or crop off their bellies or something, because it is definitely too tall for that space. So you got to think through these images. Maybe you're like, but this is the image. It's on all our materials. I have to use it. So we'll figure out how to resize and work with that as well. So let's start with, what is my image size? For my rotor, what does my image size need to be? There's several ways to find this information out. One is simply, and this doesn't work for everyone, so I will show you multiple ways. One is simply to right-click on the image and view the image information, which usually will pop up a list like this. And when you click on the background image, that's not it. I'm on the wrong one. Hold on. Got to click on it. Here we go. View. Is that it? No, I'm still on the wrong one. Well, fine. I did this earlier. View image. Well, now it's moving. There we go. I clicked view image just to get to the image. And when I right click on it and view image information, I will have the size. It's 2000 by 600. So it's 2000 pixels wide by 600 pixels tall. And it always scales depending on your screen size. So don't worry about that. So that is the size of this particular rotor, which happens to be on our theme 7. Well, what about the rotor on your page? What size is it? You can try right-clicking and see if you get the image dimensions, but if not, let me show you how you can find that out. You can go to our support site. How do you go to your support site? When you are logged in on the black bar, you might see the word help, OE help, OE support, something along those lines, and when you click on it, it would open our support site. If you don't see that, let us know. Emily will fix that for you. But when you click on it and you go to support, you are going to be able to find your sizes for your images on your site. Now, where are they? If you're a Unity, go into Unity. If you're Meals on Wheels, go into Meals on Wheels. If you're in one of our themes, and if you're a United Way or a generic, you're going to probably be in one of the themes that are out here. These are in themed order, so themes 1 through 7. Or through 10. How many do we have? Through 10. I'm on theme 7. So on page 5, here I'm going to find my image sizes. My rotor, my rotating image is 2000 by 600, which is what I just discovered when I right-clicked on it. And my Give, Advocate, and Volunteer buttons are 593 by 412, and those are these 3. We call them GAV a lot, so that's what that stands for. Now, here's a question you might be asking yourself. What theme do I have? We did recently renumber some of the themes, so if you are unsure on what your theme number is, Emily's like prepared for this one. Go ahead and type in your website address in the question box to Emily, and she will tell you what your theme number is, because she knows these like in an instant, usually. Don't you? You got it down.
Send me the URL of your site, and I can go ahead and just open that up and tell you right off the bat.
Okay. Yeah, so I still have the old theme numbers memorized. I'm still a little shaky on the newer ones. This was 12, it's now 7. Okay, so now I need a rotating image that's 2000 pixels wide by, what did I say, 600 pixels tall. So what am I going to do? I am going to go back to my friend Pixlr and do a rotor. In fact, let me go ahead and borrow this one. I will, let's see if it'll let me undo it. Edit, undo. Yeah, great. It's back to that 2298 by 8 something. So I'm going to go ahead and take the image that I have and go image size, and set it to 2000 pixels wide. That is what I would do if I knew I had an image I could work with that's going to fit the space, and resize it to 2000 pixels wide. Now, I still have a problem, because if I look at that image size, it's 726 pixels tall, and I need it to be 600. So I need to crop it some. How do I crop it? Well, I've taken off enough of their heads, so I'm okay losing a little bit on the leg area. I'm going to cut off their legs some more. So let's hit cancel. This is how you crop it. I'm going to do, and I did this earlier with one of the pictures, I'm going to use the tool called canvas size. And I will lock an anchor up at the top of the picture, and I will set the height to 600. And now I'm going to have that perfectly sized rotor of 2000 by 600, and I will hit OK. That's fine. I'm good with it. So that is my new About Us rotor. I'm going to do File, Save. I will call it Rotor dash About Us. That's fine. And I will save it. So I can put that into place. So then I would come out to my website. This is my About Us URL. Is it About-Us? It is. Okay. I'll come back out to my website, and I am going to go ahead and say Content, Add Content, Front Page Rotor Image. Learn more about us. Actually, I need the text down here, don't I, for it to show in that box. About us. Okay. The URL it's going to is About-Us. The weight of the rotor, if I put it at -5, it will make it first. Negative numbers. Weight is the order that the rotors go in. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I want it first. I don't know what the numbers of the other ones are. I'm not going to guess. I'm just going to go negative. I'll take a rotor, I'll upload it, and I will place it and say, see now, notice how the sizer box perfectly fit it. It's because I perfectly sized it to the dimensions. There is a sizer box that you could drag and adjust for your images that are different sizes. Truly, sizing them ahead of time just kind of really makes sure that you're not going to end up with a pixelated, weirdly adjusted image. So if you can size them outside of the system and just bring them in and have them fit the box perfectly, you're going to be happier with your end result in most cases. So there we go. It is my rotor. I go back to my home page. It is the first rotor, Learn More About Us. I click on it. It takes us to the About Us page, which actually happens to have the same picture on the top with my little boxes. There you go. Okay, so we've done some cool picture stuff. I'm going to do one more rotor, and then I got a few more things to tackle because I'm running down on time. So what if you have a picture, like I said before, that you're like, I really want to use this picture, but I can't crop it to make it work this space. How can I tackle that? So let me take you on a journey of something different. Let's close these out because I'm going to have a couple windows open. I'm going to go ahead and open an image, and I'm going to do a rotor about education. Where is it? So I got these two education images. So I have this picture of her and this picture of him. And the vision I have in my head is her picture's on the left and his picture's on the right. And in the middle, I have a text box, and I'm going to type something. So I'm going to build myself a rotor. I've got this idea of a rotor, but now I need to design it. How do I do that? So this is really taking you to the next notch. So I'm not going to set this at 2000 pixels wide. I'd be cropping off her eyes. It wouldn't look good. I am going to set this at 600 pixels tall. Dun, dun, dun. File, image size. The height is 600. Now she is my left-hand side of the image. So I'm going to use her as my placeholder, and I am going to adjust my canvas size to 2000 pixels wide. So I'm going to image canvas size, locking the anchor on the left and setting this at 2000 pixels wide. There you go. Now, let's bring him into the picture. So we got his picture over here. I need to take him and do his image size down. I'm actually going to go a little bit more than 600 because otherwise I got to be extremely precise in my placement, and I'm not that good at that. So I will set him at 650. Okay. And guess what I'm able to do in the system? See over on the right where it says layers? I actually have to drag the layer from his picture to hers, and it dropped him on top of her picture. I'm going to use the move tool, and I'm going to drag him, and I'm actually losing some of this family member because, hey, I'm okay with that. There he is. Now, I've got some blurry people here. I've got the space in the middle. I'm going to put a box in the middle and type words on it. So I'm just being creative. I don't like her face sticking. There we go. All right. See, I'm very picky. So I'm going back to her image. Now his image is on top. Yep, I'm good. And I will go ahead and grab the drawing tool. So I know I'm throwing a lot at you if you've never used some of the stuff before. And we're going to draw a box. And we're just going to drop it on here. Boom. And now I'm going to go to the text tool, and I will type something. Let's type. Most likely, we don't want it in black text because that won't be readable. So I will change it to white, but you can change it to something else, whatever you want. Education. Now you might be telling about a date and time, something that's going on, whatever you want to say. I'm keeping this simple because we need to get done. So again, you to be pretty big. In fact, this really probably isn't big enough text. You would want to go just a bit bigger with it because it needs to be readable on phones. But it also needs to fit my space there, which it should. There you go. Okay. So let's save this and put this in place. File, save, education. What am I going to call it? I'm going to call it rotor. Rotor, education. I don't need one. And I will say OK. Save. There we go. Let's go back to the website. So this time I go content, add content, front page rotor image. This has been recorded, folks. So if you're like, whoa, what did she just do?
Never fear.
Yeah, we recorded it. It's perfectly sized, so it perfectly fits, so I don't have to mess with that. It's going to go to the education page, which I think exists. You know, I want the other one first, so I'll go -3 and learn more. Whatever. Whatever I type in here for this particular rotor on theme 7 appears in that box. Again, you can have that turned off if that's not something you've decided you want to have. So let's go look at the home page. We have, oh, it came in first. It should have come in second. That's all right. There they are.
And that's also a good thing to note as well, where if you notice that the items that you're adding into your slideshow are not necessarily appearing in the order or the weight that you're putting them in, and no matter how you reorder your slides, they never appear correctly, that's when you can also submit a support ticket and have our team look at the slideshow. We might have the ability to adjust a few things. So again, just to always be aware, if something doesn't look right or if it looks a little off, definitely, say something. Sorry.
And no, perfect. And yeah, that's a ticket. I need to do a ticket. And now if I look at it on a phone, I can read that word education. It comes in, there's the picture of the kids, but the little text across the bottom on this particular design isn't there. So something to think about on that if you need words on it. So that's some information on rotors. I will mention our promo banners here. A lot of your sites have these as well. These are also a good idea to size out ahead of time when you bring them into the right dimensions of what they are. In this case, the text automatically pops. You are not having to place the text in a photo editor like I did earlier. This is designed to place text over for you, and it is changeable by you. I do want to show you the image gallery and then start winding this down. So let me just show you the photo gallery. So in case you didn't know this, you should try this on, everyone should try this on their website. Go to your website, at the end of your URL, type in gallery. I think I had a few of you say you're using it, but most of you apparently are not. When you go to gallery, you will have a photo gallery capability in images here. So these are actually gallery items that you can build and have as photo albums. The photo albums can reside as their own page within your site. So you could actually add it to the menu as an individual page. So it could be all your pictures under a campaign, or it could be all your images from an event that you've had, etc. To create photo galleries, you come to content, add an image gallery. They will automatically place it on your main image gallery page. Test gallery. You can put a whole descriptor for the image gallery, and then you start uploading your pictures. And you do upload the pictures in one at a time, a little bit of a downsize to it, but you can certainly upload them in. They come into the system, and you can have an image gallery out there. We know statistically, our statistics are showing us that image galleries, pictures, are one of the most looked at features on a website. So use this tool. So if your practice has been that you go to Facebook and you do pictures out there, you know, this is a really good opportunity for you to drive traffic to your website. You want them on your website. You want them to think about clicking donate. You want them to think about getting involved. You want them to see the work you're doing. So instead of putting all those pictures out on Facebook, maybe you put all your pictures in your website in a photo album and you share the link of the photo album via social media to drive traffic to your site. It is a good way of utilizing this space. You can have words associated with each of the pictures, etc. Seems like there was something else I need to say. Oh, scheduler. I did mess that with my rotor, didn't I? One of the things when you have a rotating image on the edit, down at the bottom, there is a scheduler option. If you do not see this on your website, request it. Our support team can add it. So you can schedule it to publish on a certain date and to unpublish on a certain date. You can also have rotors that are already unpublished. Right now with bad weather, we have organizations who have unpublished rotors, well, maybe they're published, that say closed due to inclement weather. And you keep it unpublished, and you easily publish it a day you need published because the rotor is the most visible piece. And maybe you pull down all other rotors that day and just have that one there because that's the most important information out there. So you could activate other rotors, just have one rotor, have it not rotate at all, schedule rotors to go live, schedule rotors to come down. So think about that. It's great during the holidays. All right, I'm about to go back and finish up our questions and stuff. How are we doing there, Emily?
We're doing really good.
All right. It was a lot of information. I hope I didn't overwhelm you guys. But again, it was recorded, and we will keep this available for you to watch when you're ready for it. All right, we've done that. Okay, so closing out today's workshop, I hope this has been helpful. I've got some tips. It's basically reiterating several of the things that have been said, just to keep this in mind for you. Make sure your images are responsive. I realize not everyone on this call might be on a mobile responsive site yet. Roxanne, you're about to get one. I know you're going through the process of getting yours set up. This will be something different from the older site designs that you now need to pay attention to, that your pictures all adjust in a mobile view. So make sure they are responsive. Unlock the, I didn't fix that. Unlock the ratio, not ratio. Unlock the ratio, remove the height, and then set your percentage. If you'd like to do that, that's an option. So either or. If you really want something to stretch across the top, go ahead and do 100% image. I think those look good. Consider using Pixlr.com. I know that Emily uses Sketch is another one that you can use for resizing and different items like that. There are other tools out there. Those are free. So figure out what works for you. Typically, the process is you adjust the image size first. So you set it at 2000 wide, or you set it at 600 tall, and then you adjust the canvas size. You crop canvas size, or you add canvas size, depending on what you need to get to the proportions you want. This will keep you from stretching an image and elongating it and making it look bad, so just make sure you follow those steps. Reminder that photo galleries can be individual pages, and it's a really good way to drive traffic to your website. So consider doing your pictures through the photo gallery tool instead of necessarily just out on social media. Name your images well before you upload them. All my rotors start with the word rotor. All my images from an event start with that name, because you aren't going to have file folders. So. File should be less than 1 megabyte. Honestly, they should be less than like 250 kilobytes if you can, because you do want your site moving at an optimal rate. So keep your file sizes smaller to make sure you avoid slowing down your site. Use a buffer around your pictures. 10 pixels is pretty common. 20 pixels gives a little bit more padding. It's that H space for horizontal buffer and V space for vertical buffer. Use the advisory title on your images. It's that ADA compliance we spoke about. And scheduler for your rotors. So if you don't have that scheduler tool, go ahead and submit a ticket. Our team can add it for you. Oh, okay, I didn't mention this one. So think about this, though. You notice that one of the challenges with the rotors is a lot of times you have to crop like the top and bottom of the picture or the top of the picture or whatever, because it's a very wide, long picture. So when you are actually taking pictures at events, take some steps back. Allow yourself croppable space. So take them too big, like where the people are kind of a little bit smaller, because your image quality on your picture is probably pretty high. So by the time you crop it down, you're fine. So just take a step back when you're taking your pictures to give you what I like to call croppable space. Consider our image gallery. It's images.oneeach.com per year to use service. They are only licensed for websites. Support. Our support site is here to help you. If you are really struggling with getting your image size right, ask support to help you with that if you're unsure. Did we have a lot of people asking which theme they were in?
We had a few, not as many as the first webinar, but we had a couple. And always feel free to ask our support team what theme you are in. There's no shame in not knowing your theme. We definitely can help.
I did miss the images in CiviCRM portion of this. A couple of things to note about images in CiviCRM. You can have that background image changed that's behind your CiviCRM page if you have that design. So you just need to submit that image to our team. Those images are 2,000 pixels wide by 1,000 pixel tall, or just ask and we'll help you with that. There is also a way to add images within the CiviCRM page. And we do have a video tutorial on that I think we'll just send out with the follow-up on this, since we are actually really out of time. If you're overwhelmed by all this and you're like, hey, you guys make these images for me. I want this picture with these words. I want this changed out. I want this done by site maintenance. Our team will handle it for you. So that is always an option to you as well. It's $50 per hour for site maintenance, and we track our time to the minute. If you aren't on a responsive website already, you really want to be. And I know it seems like, well, then I have to do all these work with the pictures, but then your site looks really good on mobile devices. And it is well worth it. In fact, search engines no longer pool sites that aren't mobile responsive as high. You're automatically losing on your search rating, because if your site's old, they're getting picky about that. Here's my last screen. That's Emily and myself have been here for you. We are over time. I'm sorry. Shoot. How are we doing, Emily? Any last closing thoughts, comments, questions?
We're doing pretty good. It looks like, have a couple of CiviCRM questions, but other than that, there are tutorials to show you how to add that. And of course, Allison and I can always follow up with anybody else who has questions.
Yeah, and I can pull that up now for anyone who really wants to hang on for a CiviCRM quick lesson on how to put an image in there. I will show that right now. We'll keep it on the recording, so it'll be on the recording if you want to watch it later. That way we do have that in here, because I did miss that part. So let's do that real quick. Any other questions while I maneuver back to?
Nope, everybody else seems really excited to learn some new things about images, or just to learn some best practices. It's great. Doing good. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Mary said, go on forever. She's game.
Don't say that, Mary. It's really scary, because I can geek out here pretty bad. Emily and I can geek out on this stuff, can't we, Em? Yeah, we can keep going. All right, so I'm going to show you kind of a trick for CiviCRM. In CiviCRM, it is not tied to the file browser that is part of your Drupal website. website. Did you know that? So if you're in CiviCRM and you're trying to add a picture to a description or a page, such as our donate page, let's just show you this real quick. So I'm on my donate page. I did this in the last one. I'll do a different one this time. I have this background picture. That's the one that's 2,000 by 1,000. You can submit a ticket and we can change those out for you. But if I want a picture on the top of a page like this one, I'm going to switch this one in just a second. When I'm in CiviCRM, it has a browse, but you can't browse the same file browser. So there's a trick to it. Here's the trick. You have to go ahead and upload the image you would want on that page first. And to do that, I would simply go back to that Hello Allison area with all of the files and go to my file browser. And I would upload it here. And once it's uploaded, let's go borrow my About Us picture again. I'll do this one that's cropped down a little bit more. Once it's uploaded, I have that picture there. I'm going to right click, oh no I'm not, I'm going to double click on it and I am going to copy the URL for it. I could also right click and get image location, but I basically double clicked to open it and then I copied the entire URL of the page. All right, so of the picture. So now I'm going to CiviCRM. That was my donation page, my general donation page. So I'm going to go to contributions, manage contribution pages. Wow, a lot of people hung on for this. That's nice. Donations, welcome, configure, title and settings. So my title and settings part in CiviCRM was the picture from last time. We'll get rid of that one. I am going to now insert this image. So I'm going to click the image button. If I click browse, I'll get an error message. It's not tied to your website. So I just am going to paste that URL right in here. I need the full URL of the full page. So now it's in there. And guess what? I can do with it the same as I did with them on the other pages. I'm actually going to set this one to 100% because I like the 100% thing. I will admit that I do like that. And I will say, okay. And now I'm going to save it. So you just have to get a copy of the full URL for it and go that way to find it. So now when I go out to the page, there it is. That's how you put a picture in a CiviCRM page. So you have to get the URL of the picture and paste it in there, and then you can maneuver it. You can float it right and left, and you can maneuver it just like you could on a page otherwise. But that's the trick. All right?
You just have to go through that one extra step.
Yeah, because you hit that browse, you're going to get not found kind of message, and everyone's always like, it's not working. Well, it's because it's literally CiviCRM is a module, and it's not tied into that Drupal website platform. So you do have to jump through a little hoop. But there's always tricks, and we love teaching you those tricks. I hope this has been helpful, you guys. Thank you for hanging in there. Sorry for going over. Have a good day. Hope your weather gets better wherever you are at. We good, Emily?
Yes, I think we're good. And again, everybody, feel free to let us know if you have any questions. You can always follow up with Allison and I.
All right. Have a great day. Thanks, guys. Take care.